We're back. Welcome back to part 5 of Project 425. We've had a little bit of a break, Dan.
We have.
I've been busy jetting around Europe, riding new bikes. Cut to a quick montage of me doing that. You've only got to look around Dan's workshop to see just how busy he is. But it was always on the cards that we would pick this back up and carry on with it, which is exactly what we're going to do today. Dan, what are we going to do today?
We've had some things done on the bike now, which is pretty cool. So we've had the swing arm powder coated, the linkages powder coated as well. You know, now we're really going to just get inside the top of the engine and check the valve clearances, just to make sure all's good in there, really.
So this is, again, just more of a safety check because we've already ran the motor up. We know the motor's good. It's only done 1,200 miles, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
and if you think about, you know, Multistrada 950 that I rode a couple of weeks ago and modern Ducati motors, the valve clearance check is at 18,000 miles now. It's ridiculous. So this is only done 1,200 miles. But for safety's sake, we've come this far.
I don't think it's that necessary, but as we're this far down, we're going to check them anyway.
Yeah.
As you say, we know the bike runs, it sounds good, but let's just check them anyway as we're this far stripped. Really.
Okay. So I'm going to get the tolerances online from Ducati, and you're going to do stuff, and then I'm going to come back with my little gloves on and you can give me a job to do.
Yes, mate. Definitely.
I'm really looking forward to getting stuck back in.
So what I'm going to do now is remove all this carbon cold air feed shroud that sits in front of the radiator to get to the front cylinders, to take the cover off and check obviously the valve clearance is there. Just makes it's so compact in there, just gives us a lot more room. And then we'll crack them from there. So I've drained all the coolant out, and now I'll just carry on taking pictures of how this loom runs, and then we'll just take it all off now. Looks fairly simple to do. That is an expensive bit of carbon, no doubt. We'll change all these clips. Look at these clips, John. Just all manked up and rusty.
Yep.
So we'll just make sure we replace all of them. Under the fan.
Got it?
Yep.
Right, it's out.
Right. Lovely. You got it?
Yep. So if you've ever wondered what's behind the door, what a V4 Ducati motor. Blimey, it's all that. Do we take that off now, or do we do that first and then take that off and do that?
It doesn't really matter, but we'll take that off anyway. Just saves us to keep turning and turning on the engine.
Yep.
So we can just get a rough idea. We jot everything down on paper anyway, so we know what the clearances are. So yeah.
But as we've discussed with most of the other stuff, internally, it looks all right. Everything.
Yeah.
You know, not going to know until you.
No, exactly. All we really know is that it sounds good.
Yep.
But we just want to check them as we're down this far. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So Dan, as you said to me at the start of this project, you've never worked on one of these, and it is just a collection of nuts and bolts and metal and oil, and they're all the same to you when they're on the bench in the workshop.
Yeah.
I'm kind of quite nervous about doing any of this just because of what's written on here, but clearly it doesn't really make any difference to you.
No, not really. I've been doing it for so long now that it's a cam cover with bolts. It's valves, clearances.
Yep.
You know, as long as we've got the right spec, should be plain sailing, really.
Yeah. So why am I shaking a little bit then? It's not because of the cold. It is because of the cold.
All right.
Yep. You good? So it makes sense while we're this far in again to not check the condition of the clutch. Seems silly, really, when it's so easy to get to everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I spoke to Neil Spalding, MotoGP Spalders, a couple of weeks ago about Sigma clutches and everything that's going on with them. Mentioned this project, and I think he said off the top of his head that there's a 748 clutch behind this case.
Okay.
So we're going to have a dry clutch set up in here.
Yep.
That rattly noise that people are used to hearing.
That's right.
It all happens behind this case here.
Just really just want to check the condition of it, as we know it's been sat for a long time. Even though it is a dry clutch, we'll just have a good look in there, and for the sake of a few bolts,
Yep.
pop it off and have a little look.
Come on, let's have a look. What's this stuff then?
This is just bits of friction plate.
Okay.
Basically, it's just burnt off of it, or you
Yep.
know, just where it's been rattling around in there, getting nice and warm.
So completely normal again. Just give it a clean and
we'll give that a clean up, but we'll check the condition of the plates as well.
Yep.
Taking them out and having a little look in there.
Okay. When you say we, you mean you?
Let me see. I'll get some tools in a minute.
All right.
Let's just pull the pressure plate off and have a little look. Yeah. So as I pretty much suspected, that we know that this bike has been sat in a damp garage, so it was well worth checking the clutch plates out. As you can see, there's a lot of rust on here. What we'll do, we won't even mess around, we'll just put a new clutch in this. So the friction material doesn't look too bad, but we can't be having a rusty clutch in there, can we? So we'll put a nice shiny new one in there.
So if you've ever wondered where that rattling noise comes from, here it is, look. It's just the sound of the clutch plates sitting in the basket in there, but they're dry, so they make this noise. Sounds terrible. I think it's really cool. There we go.
So now what I'm going to do is basically check the valve clearances on this. The spec Ducati is saying is 0.10 to 0.105. So basically we're going to turn the engine by hand on cylinder 3 and 4, so we're going to do the rear cylinders first. We're going to turn the engine to get the lobes at the maximum height. So the shallow part of the lobe is going to be where the rocker arm is, which is going to be our greatest clearance.
So about there.
So yeah, that's around about right. Now what we're going to do is get our feeler gauge 0.10 and check the clearance. They're quite hard to get to on these. So we now know, obviously if this doesn't go in, then the clearance is too tight. So that doesn't go in, so it's actually too tight, it's out of spec. So we'll have to address that one.
Shall I mark these up if you
mark
pass me
these
the...
up, yeah. We'll jot them all down on paper. So what we'll do, we'll mark that down, we know that that one's tight. And again, we'll do it on valve 2. Check that one as well.
Well, that's gone in.
We're just basically looking for a nice smooth action there. That feels spot on, that one.
Yep.
So we're happy with that.
2 is good. Everything that we're playing with on this top cam here is all inlet.
Yep.
And there's 2 valves per cylinder.
That's right.
On the inlet side.
Yep.
And 2 valves per cylinder on the exhaust
Yep.
side.
That's right.
So everything here relates to exhaust, and everything here relates to inlet.
That's right, yeah.
Relatively simple. A tick and a tick above number 3 means that the inlet valves are good and good on this side. For pot number 4, inlet valve number 2 is good, and inlet valve number 1, this first one that we felt here, is too tight. Do I look like I know what I'm doing? I think I'm just about cuffing it. That looks tight.
Yeah, so on number 4 cylinder exhaust, I basically can't really get
Okay.
0.10 in there. So we know that they're too tight as well. So obviously we'll have to address them.
So that's exhaust valve number 2 on pot number 4.
Yeah.
That one there, tight. Effectively, we've checked our valve clearances on this side.
Yep.
We're now going to do the same on pot 1 and 2 on the front.
Yep.
And then that will give us an idea of how much work we've created for you, not us, for you. And so far it sounds like you're going to need to make some adjustments to 2 of the valves, both on pot 4, inlet valve number 1 and exhaust valve number 2.
Yeah.
And we can talk about how you adjust those once I've got my head around what we've just discussed.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It makes such a difference, it's well worth doing, which is why it was worth really just popping the covers off at this stage, as we're that far stripped.
Okay.
To check them, so yeah, well worth doing.
So I've got that you've done them already and they're tight.
No, I've done the inlets already. Right. They're tight.
Oh yeah. Inlet's tight. Exhaust.
They're good.
Both good.
Yeah.
So what I've got here is, it looks like scribbles on a page, but both these valves are good and the opposing valves are tight. And then both these valves are tight and the opposing valves are good. So it's like bad, good.
Yeah. So what we're doing now is calculate what we need, and we change them, and basically get them right.
So has this just turned into an absolute nightmare of a job?
Yeah and no.
But it's got to be right.
It's got to be right, yeah. There is no point in sending a bike out there with tight valves. It's never going to produce good power.
No.
It'd just become a pain in the arse later on in life as well.
And also, I think it's now would be a good time to point out that, we started this bike up and we were dancing around and said it sounded great. It does sound good. Yeah. But it's not running to its optimum.
No, that's right.
And we/you are going to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a bit unusual on a normal road bike at 1,000 miles for valve clearances to be tight, but this is not your average kind of motorbike, so we'll address it and get it right. So
we?
Yes, we.
Okay, cool.
Oh no. Right, John, stop what you're doing, mate. We've got a bit of a problem.
Is it me again?
No, unfortunately not.
What, it's worse than
Fortunately not, shall I say.
What's up?
Looks like we've got a bit of a head gasket issue on this cylinder.
What, that drop there?
Yeah, see it?
Yep.
I did notice when I dropped the radiator, coolant looked very watery. As we know, this bike's been stored in a wet, horrible, cold garage for probably best part of 8 years. I think that the engine's probably frozen, or the corrosion's got through the head gaskets. So the engine will be coming out and it'll need a set of head gaskets on the look of things. Let's just check that rear one quick. Yeah, as suspected, since we've been messing around doing the valve clearances, I haven't taken anything water side off of the rear of this cylinder. But as you can clearly see here, there's a puddle of watery coolant. And just in this gap underneath here, you can see a big corrosion sign on the head gasket.
Yep.
It's obviously come from somewhere, and it can only really be the head or the gasket itself.
So this has come from cold cycling with old coolant rather than heat cycles and overuse. It's underuse and
yeah, being
8 cold winters.
8 cold winters of no coolant, really, just water.
Which obviously expands when it freezes.
That's right.
Which is what's gone on there and where you showed me at the front.
Causes corrosion, yeah. It's got to go somewhere, so and I noticed in top of the radiator cap as well there was quite a bit of crystallisation on the coolant side of it as well, so it's probably separated over time, which is why, like, again, race bikes, storing them for the winter, always make sure you put coolant back in them.
And road bikes
have it changed, every 2 to 3 years really.
Why does this feel really bad?
It's a lot more work.
Okay. So what is the work? What are we going to do?
We'll take the engine out, and take the heads off, check everything, replace the head gaskets, but obviously we'll make sure that everything's how it should be in there, no cracks, all that kind of stuff. Again, corrosion as well on the heads, and
shit just got real then.
Shit just got real, yeah, big time, man. Oh well.
Right. So a fairly major discovery towards the end of part 5, and kind of our loss is the viewer's gain. We've added at least another couple of episodes to this now, because of the issue with the head gasket. Dan's fairly buoyant because he does this all the time. I feel like it's the end of the world, really. I can't imagine there are going to be many places that have got a gasket set for a Desmo knocking around.
Let's get on the phone. I'm sure we'll find some.
Yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed this episode. There is the option to subscribe somewhere. I always do this a little bit. And there's the option to set up the notification so that when we do put a new episode out of this and all of the other stuff that we create here at Bike World, you'll get a little notification and you can come and check it out straight away.
Cheers, guys.